For more than a century, we've been told a story about the dawn of human civilization. It begins with the invention of agriculture, which allowed hunter-gatherers to settle down, build villages, and eventually create complex societies. But what if that entire timeline is wrong? What if the greatest revolution in human history wasn't farming, but an idea, a shared vision powerful enough to unite thousands of people to build something monumental, long before the first seeds were ever planted? Deep in the plains of southeastern Turkey lies a site that threatens to shatter our understanding of the past. It's called Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known monumental site, and it holds a secret that archaeologists missed for decades. For years, we saw it as a collection of isolated stone circles, a primitive temple built by early hunter-gatherers. But a hidden geometric pattern, a blueprint written in stone, reveals a level of planning and coordination that was thought impossible for its time. This isn't just an old temple. It's a message from our ancestors, and it's forcing us to rewrite the very first chapter of human history. Göbekli Tepe is a place that shouldn't exist. Constructed between 11,000 and 12,000 years ago, this sprawling complex of massive stone pillars predates agriculture, cities, and written language by millennia. When archaeologists first began to unearth its secrets, they were confronted with a puzzle that defied every known model of prehistoric life. For decades, the site was studied as a series of disconnected, circular enclosures, each one a fascinating but isolated anomaly. This early interpretation led to the widely accepted label of Göbekli Tepe as the world's first temple, a gathering place for scattered bands of hunter-gatherers who came together for ritualistic purposes. But this simplistic view, while groundbreaking in itself, missed a far larger and more profound truth hidden just beneath the surface. The entire site was designed as a single, unified system, following a sophisticated master plan that was meticulously executed over centuries. The most striking features of Göbekli Tepe are its massive T-shaped limestone pillars, which dominate the landscape. These monolithic stones, arranged in circles, are a testament to the incredible ambition of their builders. Some pillars reach heights of nearly 6 meters, or almost 20 feet, and individual stones can weigh up to 10 tons. The sheer scale of the undertaking is staggering, especially when you consider it was accomplished by a pre-agricultural society with no beasts of burden or metal tools. Yet, despite the monumental nature of the architecture, archaeologists found no evidence of permanent settlement. There were no houses, no hearths for daily cooking, and no signs of the domestic life one would expect from a village. Furthermore, extensive surveys have revealed a complete absence of graves or burial pits within the sacred enclosures, ruling out the possibility that this was a city of the dead. The purpose of this immense effort remained a profound mystery. Early researchers, understandably overwhelmed by the complexity of the site, focused their efforts on excavating individual chambers, treating each enclosure as a self-contained unit. German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt, who began leading excavations in 1995, was one of the first to sense that Göbekli Tepe did not fit neatly into any known archaeological category. Under his guidance, which continued until his passing in 2014, the team meticulously uncovered several of these stunning stone circles, each one deepening the enigma. The presence of countless animal bones, primarily from gazelles and wild cattle, suggested that massive feasts took place here. But the scarcity of everyday tools like grinders or mortar challenged the idea that this was a permanent settlement. The repetitive architectural features and the sheer labor required to build and maintain the site hinted at a deeper, more organized purpose that transcended simple ritual. The temple theory, while a convenient starting point, failed to explain the incredible scale, the meticulous repetition, and the underlying logic that seemed to tie the entire complex together. A new chapter in the exploration of Göbekli Tepe began in 2025, when a new research team, led by Professor Barbara Hors, arrived with a fresh perspective and advanced technology. Armed with ground-penetrating radar, GPR, they set out to look beyond the excavated enclosures and map what still lay buried underground. The results were nothing short of revolutionary. The GPR scans revealed a network of additional structures, all interconnected, confirming that the known circles were just a small part of a much larger, integrated system. For the first time, archaeologists were able to see the entire site not as a collection of individual temples, but as one unified master-plan complex. This holistic view uncovered a hidden geometric pattern that had been invisible to previous generations of researchers, a deliberate design that pointed to a level of abstract thought and long-term planning previously thought impossible for hunter-gatherer societies. The most stunning revelation came from the spatial relationship between three of the main enclosures. B, C, and D. When the team mapped the central points of these three structures, they discovered that they formed a near-perfect equilateral triangle. The distance between the center of each enclosure was a consistent 19.25 meters, with a margin of error of less than 30 centimeters. This degree of precision is far too high to be the result of chance or accidental placement. It was a deliberate, intentional design. This geometric arrangement proved that the builders were not simply erecting one circle after another in a random fashion. Instead, they were following a shared geometric logic, a blueprint that governed the layout of the entire site. The alignment of key features within the enclosures further reinforced this conclusion. The central pillars in enclosures B and C, for instance, are perfectly aligned with the triangle's southern side, while enclosure D, the largest and most complex of the three, sits at the apex. Adding another layer of complexity, pillars across these distinct enclosures share a consistent 10-degree orientation offset from true north. This was not the work of disparate groups. It was the product of a single overarching plan passed down across generations. An architectural vision executed with mathematical precision, all without the aid of writing. This sophisticated knowledge was likely transmitted orally, passed from one generation of builders to the next, ensuring the integrity of the master plan over centuries. The site's intricate symbolism, expressed through hundreds of animal carvings, also appears to follow a set of strict, predetermined rules. These are not random decorations but a complex system of communication. For example, vultures are consistently found carved near the tops of east-facing pillars, positions that align with the sunrise during key astronomical events like the solstices. In contrast, scorpions are typically depicted low on the southern faces of pillars, often paired with other animals like foxes or wild cattle. This deliberate placement suggests that the carvings functioned as a form of sacred calendar, marking seasonal changes or the timing for specific rituals. They were messages without writing, a visual language understood by all who participated in the site's ceremonies. Amidst the rich tapestry of animal reliefs, one unique discovery stands out. A human-like statue found carefully placed in the earth between enclosures B and D. Unlike the animal carvings, which are integrated into the pillars, this figure was sculpted in the round and features haunting shell-inlaid eyes. It was discovered lying horizontally, a deliberate placement that suggests a specific ritual function. Pronounced wear marks on its surface indicate that it was not a stationary idol, but was likely handled, passed around, or used in ceremonies that brought large groups together. Archaeologists speculate that this statue may have served as a focal point for coordinating communal activities, a physical embodiment of the shared beliefs that united the people of Göbekli Tepe. The carvings and statues were more than art. They were a functional symbolic system that enabled complex social organization on a scale never before seen. Perhaps the most perplexing aspect of Göbekli Tepe is its final chapter. The site was not abandoned to decay or destroyed by invaders. It was deliberately and methodically buried. Around 9500 BC, the magnificent stone enclosures were intentionally filled to the top with clean limestone rubble, preserving them perfectly for millennia. Charcoal fragments found within the fill material confirm that this burial occurred rapidly, in a single massive effort, rather than as a gradual process over generations. The scale of this final act is as impressive as the construction itself. It is estimated that over 1,200 tons of stone and debris were required to fill just one of the enclosures. This monumental task would have required the coordinated labor of hundreds of people, all working together to entomb the very structures their ancestors had spent centuries building. This was not an act of destruction, but one of consecration, a final grand ritual to put the sacred site to rest. This immense level of cooperation, both in the construction and the burial of Göbekli Tepe, took place in a society that had not yet developed agriculture. The complete absence of domesticated plants or farming tools at the site confirms that these were hunter-gatherers. Yet they achieved a level of social organization that, according to traditional models, should only have been possible after the agricultural revolution. Their cooperation was not driven by the need to manage crops or surplus food, but by a shared vision, a powerful set of beliefs that compelled them to undertake one of the most ambitious engineering projects of the ancient world. Recent discoveries at nearby sites, such as the equally ancient Karahan Tepe, reveals similar T-shaped pillars and symbolic carvings, suggesting that Göbekli Tepe was not an isolated phenomenon. It was likely the center of a regional network of coordinated communities, all sharing a common culture and contributing to a collective spiritual project. Göbekli Tepe forces us to ask a fundamental question. Did religion and shared ideology, not agriculture, provide the initial spark for civilization? The hidden patterns at this ancient site are not just rewriting a single chapter of our past, they are forcing us to rethink the very origins of how and when human civilization truly began.
Thanks for watching. Like, comments and share.